Alright, folks been asking how I wired up my hog trap, and this video here is going to show how I did it. So this is an image of the circuitry right here. I'll let you look at that for a second, and I'll try to explain it. So this down here is the battery, and I'm only using one battery, so the positive here is the same as the positive here, and also the negative here is the same as the negative here. So I come off the positive. I only have two wires coming from the positive up to the box, and two wires coming from the negative up to the box. Each one of these positive wires goes through a fuse and then a switch. I have one toggle switch that cuts both circuits on and off whenever you flip the switch. I did that just so I wouldn't have to have two switches in there and it would turn them both on simultaneously or off simultaneously. So the fuse for the control board, which is this one, is only 3 amps. That's the smallest I could find. And the fuse for the solenoid mechanism is 30 amps, which is here. So basically the positive wire goes straight to the positive on the board, and that powers the board up. The negative wire goes straight to the negative on the board, and that powers the negative part of the board up. So that part's straightforward. So the board is energized. The other part here, we have a positive going through the fuse, through the switch, to the large positive lug on a lawnmower solenoid. And then from the large positive lug, I piggybacked off of it, went over to the normally open screw on the board, and I'm going to show that in a minute. And then come off the COM1, going to the solenoid activation spot. Some of them have a little blade connector there, and some have a little screw, but this one here has a blade, I think. And then on the other side of the solenoid, after it's closed, it comes off that positive and goes to the positive on the pop locking solenoid. On the negative, it goes up to one of the mounting bolts on the lawnmower solenoid. And then if you go across the solenoid to one of the other mounting bolts, a negative wire goes from it over to one of the mounting bolts on the pop locker. That's basically all it is to that. So I'm going to go over here in the box, and I'm going to show how it looks over there. So here's the battery box. Now I know it looks like a lot of jumbled up wires, but basically I got one positive wire going down here to the switch. It goes through a fuse right here. I got a fuse right here for each wire. So it goes from the positive to the fuse to the switch and then back up to the box. Over here it's the same thing. Positive, fuse, switch, up to the box. The negative wires just go straight up to the box. I wanted to be able to disconnect it, so I put these little terminals in there. And what I did is on the two wires that stay where they're going to stay, I got a positive and a negative, or what, it'd be a male and a female. The other side I got a male and a female. That way I couldn't accidentally hook them up backwards. So I left those to where it'd be like that, male and female. And then the other two, you can just take them off the battery lugs. That way you can disconnect it from there. So anyway, that's pretty straightforward. So let's go up here to the box. Let me see if I can turn my light on here. Whoops. Alright, maybe we don't need a light. Alright, so here's the board. And this right here, the green wire here is the negative going to the board. Brown wire is the positive wire going to the board. That's pretty straightforward. If you look over here, this is the COM1, I think is what it says on there. And this is the normally open. You got a choice of normally closed. NC, we don't want to use NC because we don't want it to be closed as soon as we power up the switch down there in the box. So we use normally open, so that circuit is open. This is the relay. So basically, if you look over here, this is the first positive lug on the lawnmower solenoid. And you can see this blue wire is the wire that's coming straight up from the box to the positive solenoid. I just stuck another wire in the terminal connector, come over here to the normally open, then come over here to the common that comes off the same circuit, goes back over here, and then it goes over to the energizer for the solenoid. I did that so I wouldn't have to run two positive wires from the battery up to the box, so I just piggybacked off of that one. I used a heavy enough wire, I think it's number 10 or 12 gauge wire, so I'd have plenty of amperage. Then you go over to the other side. It's just kind of hard to see. See if I can get some light on that. Hold on just a minute, I'm going to put you on pause. Alright, I put a little bit of light on the situation there. So on the other lug of the lawnmower solenoid, you got a white wire coming off, and that white wire just goes straight up to the lock popper up there, positive. And then the black wire comes from the other mounting bolt. Barely can see it through that hole. Goes straight up through that little wire holder, goes over here and connects to the body of the pop blocker. That's only two circuits for that. So that's pretty straightforward. I got the body of the lawnmower solenoid grounded, and then I just bonded the other one there to it with that black wire on the other mounting bolt. Positive wire coming up to the main lug of the lawnmower solenoid.